Well, good evening. Thank you so much for coming to our second Jamestown Orthodox Church Planting Initiative informational meeting. Tonight's going to be a different kind of night than what the first informational meeting was. So if you were here last time, I did a lot of talking. And tonight I plan to do very little. Maybe some of you are excited about that. I hope you are. I am. I like to sit in the back as much as possible when I'm able. Tonight, what we're going to be doing is a moderated interview. We have three couples that are going to be sitting up in the chairs there, and Pastor Jeff DeBoer from Redeemer is going to be asking them questions, particularly related to why they're excited to participate in this Jamestown Church Planting Initiative. A lot of you here tonight are probably exploring whether or not you feel the Lord leading you, calling you to this work. And we thought it would be helpful to have some real people who have prayed through and thought through this for a long time to provide some of the reasons why they feel led in this direction to maybe speak to you as well. Maybe some of those ideas and reasons will resonate with you as you're praying through and considering joining with this work. First announcement as we get started, I have some, I have some more informational cards in the back, just outside the double doors in the center aisle. Last time we ran out, and so if you were here last time and didn't get the chance to fill your name in, or if you're here for the first time tonight, please take some time to fill out an informational card, just your name and information so that we can add you to the email list. If we run out of informational cards tonight, I don't know what to tell you. Probably means we need a second church plant in Jamestown. But I trust that we'll have sufficient this evening. Second announcement, I just want to give you kind of a broad overview again, just reviewing what the church planting timeline is for Jamestown. So tonight is our second informational meeting. It's the second Thursday of the month. The first was in January, on the second Thursday of January. We're going to be continuing that theme through May. So March, second Thursday in March, second Thursday in April, second Thursday in May. 3 more informational meetings that you can put on your calendar. Again, second Thursday at 6:30. The March informational meeting is planned for here at Hanley again. And then April we'll reassess. Maybe we'll be here, maybe we'll be elsewhere. But put that on your calendar for the informational meetings. And then in February, actually not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday, February 22, the 4th Sunday of February, we're going to be having our first OPC worship service. This is going to be a satellite service with some OPC elders and deacons representatives from Grace Fellowship and Redeemer watching over the service here. But we're going to have a worship service. We're going to kind of get started, dip our toe in the water, and we're going to do this once per month, February, March, April, May, 4th Sunday of the month. The time for that's going to be 4:30 p.m., and then we're going to have a potluck to follow after that. I'll have more information on that in just a second. And that's going to be our rhythm. Second Thursday informational meeting, 4th Sunday worship service. So you can book it. If you're on the email list, you'll get reminders periodically for that. And then once we get through May, Lord willing, if our presbytery approves of this church planting effort in April, we're hoping to launch morning services at the beginning of June. What that would look like is through the summer, June, July, August, have weekly morning worship services wherever the Lord has us, and then we'll continue our once per month evening worship through the summer, and that'll bring us to September, where if we have all the details in place, Lord willing, I say that again as my default, I can get out of this if we have to, Lord willing, we'll start our full ministry launch. So morning and evening worship services, and then we'd love to have Bible studies, Bible classes, life groups in place by then as well. But stay tuned for more information. That's just forecasting a little bit further out. For our first Sunday evening worship service, again, February 22, not this Sunday, but the next, we're going to have the 4:30 service and then a potluck to follow. I thought it would be helpful rather than just opening up the potluck to however you feel called, whatever food to bring, to give you some direction. We're going to do kind of an Italian-themed potluck. So if you are if you have a last name with the initials A through H, we're going to ask you to bring a main dish for the potluck, whether it's meatballs or lasagna or baked ziti, whatever Italian kind of dish sounds good to you. We'll ask you to bring a main dish, A through H. I through P will ask for a side dish, whether it's a side salad or some other pasta or potato salad. And then Q through Z will ask to bring a dessert. If you're not confident you can remember that information, I'll be sending reminders over your email. Again, just make sure you're signed up for updates and an information card in the back. So we're really excited for February 22. I think this first evening worship service is going to give us the most accurate sense. We're here at the beginning of what our core group might start to look like. So make sure you plan to be there. We'd love to have you. This week, Saturday, this is a Hanley event. Here at Hanley, they're hosting a pancake breakfast fundraiser to support a mission trip to Uganda. That's this week, Saturday. It's going to be from 8 a.m. till 11 a.m. right here at Hanley. If you would love to support Hanley in this way, I wanted to throw that invitation out to you. They'd love to have you join them for that as they fundraise for their Uganda mission trip at the end of February. That's all of my announcements to kick things off. I'm going to open us with a word of prayer, and then we're going to sing a song and get started. Father in heaven, thank you so much for tonight. Thank you for those of us who have made a time to come out to hear, Lord, a little bit about the work that you're doing in Jamestown. Thank you for those who are at home listening over live stream, whether they have kids at home, sick kids at home, or whether it's just too challenging to get out on a Thursday and they're tuning in sometime later. Lord, I pray that you would bless them. Lord, bless all of us who are considering this work, that you would give us wisdom and direction as we pursue your will. And by singing the hymn, By Faith. The words will be broadcast on the screen over there. Well, you can be seated, and at this time I'll ask the interviewer, Pastor Jeff, and the interviewees, the Overbeeks, the Steenwicks, and the Barons to come up front. How this is going to work is Pastor Jeff has some moderated questions that we're going to go through with the couples to get things started. While the interview is taking place, you see we have a number up there on the screen. If you have questions that you would like answered or follow-up questions to any of the questions through the interview, you can take out your phone and text that number, and it will go to, keep that in mind. If you don't have a cell phone, make friends with someone next to you who does, and then they can get your questions sent in on your behalf. But for now, I'm going to hand the stage to Pastor Jeff.
All right, good evening. As Trent said, my name is Jeff DeBoer. I'm the pastor of Redeemer Church. And we have asked these 6 folks, 3 couples, to come and talk with us tonight. And I want to start by just asking you about who you are and a little bit about where you're from, what church you're from, and how long you have been there. And I'm going to guess that the folks at the end have been at their church the longest, so we're going to start with Roger. If you can just introduce yourself and your church and how long you've been there.
We've been going to Hanley for 58 years. We come here, let's see, was it 68, I believe it was? And yeah, and so we've seen that a lot of people come and leave from Hanley, throughout all the years, and we're looking forward to having a lot of people in church again, compared to what it's kind of been going less people, and so we're happy that we think that OPC church would be a good church to join with or have here at Hanley, because we're really looking forward and hoping that this deal works out, with OPC. Do you want to add to it?
Well, I've prayed that we could have a true word church take over for us, because we no longer can, finance it on our own, and I just feel like this is an answer to prayer.
Thank you.
Alex and Kendra Overbeek. We are members at Redeemer, OPC, and Ada. We've been there. We were just debating. It's been about 3 years. We have 3 kids. They're little kids. All with the babysitter right now. 5, 3, and 1. That's all I got.
All right. Scott and Sarah Steenwijk. And we have been at Grace Fellowship for about 5 years now. We have 3 kids as well. They're somewhere out there with somebody in the back there.
They're watching.
Yeah, they're watching. So oldest is 8, and then we've got a 6 and a 5-year-old.
Great, thank you. So I have a series of questions that I want to ask you, and I'm going to just go down the road here, but we're going to go reverse this time, okay? So you're going to be first, Scott. And the question is this: why are you interested in this work? Okay. And then the second question is going to be a little bit more to the point. How interested are you? And I'm going to put it to you this way, just on a scale of 1 to 10.
Why we're interested? I would say we're interested because of the opportunity, the leadership opportunity. We've seen Trent in our church and excelling and leading there, and in his role as an intern pastor and his preaching. We get to hear the gospel from him. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the location. It's about 5 minutes from our house. So rather than spending 20 minutes each way going to and from church, we'd be spending 20 minutes total on the road on Sunday. Especially with the young kids, that sounds pretty nice. you have anything else to add to that?
I think just the leadership at Grace is so excellent, and we're just excited to see that continue here. And that's a big deal for having kids at a church. You want to have really good leadership because that can really cause their faith to flounder later if, the leadership is not solid. So I would say I'm going to put us at 95%.
90, I gave a scale from 1 to 10, and you went to 95.
Okay, 9.5.
9.5, okay. Thank you, Sarah. So far, you're in the lead. All right.
Yeah, I guess for us, why we're interested, and you can feel free to butt in at any time, but when we joined Redeemer a few years ago, there was, I think, it was a little bit of, could be kind of a drive for us from where we were living at the time. So there's a little part of us that was like, hey, the gospel's preached here. We feel like we're being called here, but maybe a little bit of, why we gotta drive so far away to go to church? And really were embraced at Redeemer and felt like, the Lord was calling us to be there. And then about the same time we were thinking about maybe moving, maybe getting closer to our kids' school or closer to Redeemer is about the time when the door opened for us to join the church plant. And it just really felt like this is, wow, the Lord is opening a door for us right now. And maybe this is why we were brought to Redeemer in the first place. So I would say that's a big part of it for us. And then we've had a lot of discussion with our small group from Redeemer about, what it looks like to plant a church and be in your community and spread the gospel. And that has been really, really encouraging and convicting. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited for my kids to hear solid gospel preaching and to grow up in that kind of preaching, and excited to see where the Lord takes us. I would say we're 10 out of 10 committed.
Okay,
So.
great. Let me ask you one more question since I know a little bit about your story. You said about the time you were thinking about moving, you heard about this church plant starting. That's been a number of months ago, and you did move, but where did you move to?
We live in Byron Center, so we're about 10 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, go ahead, Linda. It looks like you're getting the microphone.
Well, I'm excited because we don't have church service at night anymore. And when we went to visit the OPC at Grace Fellowship, we have a grandson and daughter that go there. We were so impressed. We were just little, probably 11, 12-year-olds greeting you at the door. And we were in the handicap parking lot waiting for Josh and Elise. And just to see all these young families at a night service.
Back here a little bit about Hanley. We have a council here that has so thankful for all the work that they put in. Went through some untread waters here. They have spent a lot of time praying and many hours. And I just want to give our council here at Hanley, we've only got 3 elders and 3 deacons, so they've had a lot of weight on their shoulders, and I just appreciate our council here at Hanley.
Yes, and we want to note that. I know a few people who are on the council. When I came here to preach a few weeks ago, I met the elders and the deacons. I wouldn't be able to pick out everyone by their face, but if you're in that position, we want to commend you for the work that you've done. That is difficult work when you're doing it year after year after year after year. Yeah. So let me ask you, Raj and Linda, where are you in terms of your future? In terms of, we had a 95, we had a 10.
10.
Yeah, we're all
You're in.
gun ho about it. We're
Yep.
always
I just
behind.
feel it's the Lord's leading and guiding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things like it's an answer to prayer.
Yep.
That's the way we feel.
It's not who we are, CRC or.
You just use the mic there, because I can hear you, but not everyone else can.
It's not who we are, OPC or CRC, it's whose we are.
Right.
So,
Let me go on to the next question, and I just want to remind everyone who's here, if you have questions that occur to you, hit the text number and use your fingers to type out a question, and Trent will get them. We're going to break in probably a good half hour. and then we'll take those questions and we'll answer them. If you had questions from the last time you were here and you thought, I don't really want to raise my hand, that's a little awkward, this is a good opportunity to do it without feeling awkward. I know I'd feel awkward if I ask a question in front of a bunch of people. So, third question I want to ask each one of you, and then we're going to go to some more individual questions, is if this church, if God blesses this church and it gets rolling, what do you expect to be able to contribute to this work? And we're going to start with you, Raj.
Well, we're both senior citizens, and actually we both had strokes, and we can't do a whole lot more, you know. So, but we could do
Support
whatever,
church.
support whatever we can.
Good. Great. Thank you. Yes. How about Kendra's trying to get rid of the microphone. Why don't we give it to her and ask her what her answer is first, and then you can go back.
A part of Redeemer, we've been more involved there than any church probably we ever have in our lives. So there's, I think we have, you know, some more experience, and hopefully we can bring, you know, some of the things that we've learned just in organizing committee work and things like that, I would say. That could be very helpful to a church plant, but definitely want to lean on the folks who have a lot more experience than us and have been a part of a church for much longer than we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
So Alex serves as a deacon, so eventually I'm sure he would love to serve at some point again.
Thank you for volunteering him.
Yeah. And then, just to give you an idea of what committees we're on, he's also part of the finance committee. He's been involved in fundraising for Christian education. He didn't want to volunteer any of that information himself, so he didn't want to brag. I've helped with organizing the nursery some. We'll
talk. If you don't know these folks before, the way I would describe this is probably true of everyone who will be involved to one degree or another. But these are people who come with a depth of experience, and at least I can say for the folks from Redeemer, I've described them as some of the best people at our church who are interested. So go ahead. After that.
Well, I'm a deacon intern at Grace Fellowship right now, so I would be willing to serve as a deacon in the future. I've served as a deacon at previous church as well. Enjoy that work. I also have a wife who is gifted in music and playing the piano, so I would anticipate more of that happening. Hosting is something that we do a lot at our house as well, a small group, and hosting people for dinners and stuff like that. And again, being so close to church makes that easier for like a Sunday afternoon dinner to host people there for that.
No, you covered it all very well. Okay, so I'm going to ask, we're going to go back to the two of you, and I want to ask you, in terms of your experience in church, what is the healthiest church you've been a part of, and why did you think it was really healthy? What were the keys in your mind to why that was a great church?
I would say that Grace Fellowship is the healthiest church that we've been a part of. So saying that, it's kind of tough to think about leaving Grace Fellowship. We love it there. We get to hear the gospel every week. It's something that's focused on, but also we get to see the gospel living out. There's a huge outward focus into our community and to spreading the gospel, not just keeping it to ourselves. And I think we've been part of churches where we get to hear the gospel and there wasn't as much of the emphasis on sharing it with others. And I think that's really a sign of a good church. And having leadership that you can count on and that you can trust, I think is also a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. You have something you want to add to that, Sarah?
Yeah, I just think the leadership is so important.
When you say leadership, who are you referring to?
The pastor and the elders. I think the deacons have done a really good job too. But I think, just watching our church struggle to find a second pastor and having watched them go through some disappointment and walk us through that and lead us through that in such a God-honoring way, I think that's what we would expect to see here too. Yeah, I think the gospel preaching just so clear from both Pastor Mike and Trent.
Great. Overbeeks.
I think I could probably just say ditto, because it's a pretty, our story and background is pretty similar to you all. And, but yeah, I think I would say something very similar, and it's that, Redeemer has been probably the healthiest church we've been a part of, and likewise, it's going to be really difficult to leave. It's hard to think about leaving, because we were just so embraced from the moment we first walked through the door, that people were checking up on us if we weren't out in church on Sunday, just because they cared about us. And so that would be what I would want to see happen with this church plant, is a place where the gospel is preached, and I have no doubt that it will be, but also a church that cares about the people around them and wants to see them know Jesus.
You go ahead.
We were impressed, the OPC, like there's such a aggressive outreach, and we were, from what we have seen, and hey, one thing at Hanley, no matter who you talk to, we're talking about solid in the church, and the emphasis, get a Bible-believing church here, and we figure OPC, as far as we're concerned, is as good as Bible, we were, just used to be Christian Forum here. We used to have like a church full, all the young kids there in Sunday evening service, So we were just really impressed with OPC.
So I'm not going to guess how old you are, Roger. Roger, no, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
No.
Go ahead.
And Sunday I'll be 86.
Wow. So here's a good question for you then. It's a slight variety of what I was going to ask, but it occurs to me. Let's fast forward, let's say 10 years. And you reach the end of your life. And this church is blessed by the Lord and it's been going for 10 years. What would you hope would be true about this church in 10 years?
Well, that it would be a church that's overfilled and a full congregation, but mainly that God's word is still preached, the true word is preached here, and that's what we hoping for,
Mm-hmm. Good. Do you have something to add to that, Linda?
Well, just that the pews would be filled and, like he said, true to God's word.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that these young little children can grow up knowing and believing and
with all the new homes around
Yeah, go ahead. Let's pass the mic back.
With all the new homes around here, there sure is an opportunity to have a lot of people here, as far as that goes. A lot of them, I probably don't even have a church. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Let me ask the same question to you two couples. So you probably have a little longer, more than 10 years, but let's just fast forward to 10 years. If you can think rather concretely, what would you hope would be true about this church if it starts and is off and going? What would you want to be true in 10 years?
That the
Oh, I like that.
gospel is still being
Yeah.
preached very clearly. And that it's, that's the main thing. And I think that's the thing, that so many churches can get stuck in some of the weeds and, the things that don't really matter and that really just distract us from what we need to be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
I would want it to look a lot like Grace Fellowship.
And what parts? What parts? Because it's not going to meet at the same building. It's not going to be in the same town. But what do you mean, look a lot like it?
I mean, like the leadership structure, the preaching structure, and the outreach, the focus on missions, the focus on telling your neighbor. We've got Sunday school hours for the adult Sunday school classes where we talk about sharing the gospel with other people. So I just think there's a great interest and equipping of the people at Grace to do that, and I love it.
Great.
And after church, you know, it's not uncommon to see people praying together and just sharing, and it just feels like it's so alive. It just feels like the most alive church that we've been at in all the best ways. And that's what I want to see here, just a life, and it's the gospel that breathed that life into Grace, and so that's the hope for here.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think to, again, play off that a little bit, I want the main thing to still be the main thing, that the gospel is still central to everything that we're doing, that the truth of God's word is still the most important thing, that, I mean, there's so many things you can get distracted by and rabbit holes you can go down, and it happens to all of us. And absolutely, there will be times probably when we'll get distracted and have to be brought back on course again, but I think that's, when Raj talks about all the people that have moved to the area, that's what's going to make people want to come and they'll feel something's different here if the gospel is still being preached.
Again, the gospel being preached is the most important thing. And I would love to see lots of visitors here and people being welcomed in and people not feeling awkward being new here. I want to be a really welcoming church and a church where the gospel is lived outwards and that people can see that and feel it, and a church that loves each other.
Right. Good. So there are a lot of things about this that are still rather ambiguous. Of course, the biggest one is what's going to happen over the next few months. Who might be committed to this, even the question of where we might meet. So now the question I want to ask you is a rather personal one in the middle of that ambiguity. Is there anything that as you look forward over, let's say, this summer, between now and September, which is sort of the beginning of the traditional church year, you're watching this develop, is there something that might happen, that could theoretically happen, that would be a deal killer for you? Like if this were to happen, we're going to be out. Overbeaks, I haven't picked on you guys in a while.
I don't have a great answer to that.
Oh, Kendra to the rescue.
Nothing that I can see happening. Like, if we strayed from God's word, if we started fighting over things that didn't matter, but I don't see that happening.
So let me follow up, because I was going to ask this question next, and you sort of introduced it. What are some things that do not matter in your mind?
There was something that Trent said at the first forum that I thought, and this is, I'm going to sound like a broken record again, but I'm not going to get the quote right, so maybe he can remind me later. But it was something to the effect of, we're not going to care if you're wearing jeans to church, for example. We're going to be focusing on making sure the word goes out every Sunday. So that's, I lost my train of thought, but I think that those are the things that we definitely would want to avoid.
Okay. Let's go to Raj and Linda. What might be a deal killer for you? Oh, Raj just got an answer. I see him smiling.
I don't know, but I go to Bible Study Fellowship, and I heard this phrase, and I really like it, to be so rooted in God's plan that even disappointments feel like divine protection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's going to be some little differences, along the way. But I think we just have to realize, again, whose we are and show love and unity.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you because I want to ask you some things that churches have disagreed about, and then ask you if these are deal killers. Okay? Translation of the Bible. Would that be a deal killer for any of you?
Yes, if as far as the homosexual situation, if we get more lenient with that, that would be a
Right.
deal killer.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, that's my, I think, our personal opinion.
Sure.
But,
And to be
we think
clear-
we actually think that's a biblical view.
Right. And to be clear, that's not in the range of possibilities in the OPC, but I can understand that. Yeah, go ahead.
With the Bible translation, I would just want it to be a faithful translation of the Bible, and I think that the elders would do a great job of picking something like that out, so.
Okay, let me ask you a couple more. Can I? Can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
How about time of worship?
No, that would be fairly flexible, I would say.
Do any of you say that would be a deal killer for me? No?
No.
Okay, how about if someone was elected to the steering committee and eventually the session, that's the equivalent of the elders, that you didn't vote for? Would that be a deal killer for you? How about if things do not look like the church you came from? So let's say this church has life groups, small groups, and the church you're used to doesn't. And you're asked to participate. Would that be a deal killer for you? No? How about if there's a women's Bible study that you really like, and in this church, there's a different women's Bible study altogether? No? How about if the music has the piano and a guitar? Would that be a deal killer for you? Okay, I'm trying.
Are you
Go ahead.
fishing for something that we will be?
Well, a little bit, because one of the things that happens, and I'm especially sensitive to this, where you're having different groups come from different churches, where they really like their church, and they like what it was like, what happened there. And inevitably, you come to a place and it's going to be different. And there are going to be differences that you don't like. And so the question is meant to ask you, beyond the clearly biblical things like Raj talked about, certain moral positions like homosexuality. If we were to embrace homosexuality and we become an open and affirming church, Raj says, I'm not on board for that. But that's not in the range of possibilities. I'm talking about the smaller, more we have to get this worked out so we can function as a church. And you don't necessarily like that decision. Churches have split over that. And especially in a situation like this, one of those things you really liked might not be necessarily true here. And I'm wondering if any of you, that would be like, Argh.
Pastor Jeff,
Yes.
the name of the church.
The name of the church. Yes. The name of the church. That's a good one. Go ahead, Sarah. You want to say something? I can tell.
Well, something that I thought of is we came from a church that always had a Christmas Day service,
Oh, yes.
and going to Grace, we don't have a Christmas Day service. And so that was a change, and we wanted to know why, because, going to a Christmas Day service, you kind of feel like that's what you're supposed to do, because that's how you celebrate Jesus' birth. And it was explained to me by an elder, so I don't know if this is exactly the church's position on it, but one of the elders told me that it's because the elders take very seriously when they call someone to worship. And they don't want to do it outside the bounds of the Bible. And the Bible, instructs to come on Sunday for worship. And I think that's how we believe. And so to call them to worship on a day that's not set in the Bible is not necessarily something they want to put on the people. And it was just a nice way to understand that. And so just differences like that, I think, sometimes just understanding the reasoning behind it, and there's actually good leadership behind it, and that really makes a big difference.
Yes.
Something that we've prayed for, and our church has prayed for, and our small group has prayed for, is humility in this. And we just want to make sure that this becomes the Lord's church. It's not our church. It's not in our image. It's not about us. It's not about what we want. It's about the Lord. And that's what matters.
Yes.
I'll just share a quick personal anecdote. There was something, maybe it was a year ago that you and I talked through.
Oh,
and
yes.
Then the church ended up working through. And
Yes.
felt like I had caused an issue.
Glorious memories.
Very unintentionally started something. But that was good for me. There was a humbling experience. Still don't completely agree with the outcome, and that's okay. I mean, there's going to be differences of opinion, and again, we got to keep the first thing first. So, yeah, we've had that before, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And,
Yeah.
and it doesn't change our opinion of Redeemer.
Right. Yeah. And there will definitely be those things. So no Christmas service. We don't have a Christmas service either at Redeemer. We have a Christmas Eve service because we have a lot of young families and a lot of them go away for Christmas. So it just doesn't work. I'm imagining Hanley, do you have a Christmas service?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that would be
every
something to be worked out. Yep. And there are going to be a variety of those things. Let me just pause here a moment and just remind you, if you have questions, you can send them to that text number. Do that as we're working through. We've been going about, about a half hour, a little bit less. We have a few more questions to go, and then we're going to take a short break, collect the questions, and then we'll go through some of the questions, okay? My next question is, in this place, we're sitting here in Hanley tonight, who would you want this church to reach?
Part of the community. Like I said, there's a lot of new homes around here, and be an outreach in the community.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so you're talking about people who did not live here maybe 5 or 10 years ago and they do now.
Correct.
Yep, okay.
I would love it to reach people who say they're Christians but don't know what it's like to be embraced by a church.
And
to
could
be
you give
part
an-
of a church.
Could you fill that out a little bit? What does that mean? Are you talking about people who used to go to church, they went to?
Maybe. I don't know. I think of friends that I have that say they're Christians and that they believe in Jesus, but they're not members of a church, and they don't know what that's like, being a part of the body of Christ.
I would just say the loss in the community, right around here in Jamestown area. I would say it's a somewhat churched area, but there's still a lot of lost around that don't have a church home or aren't thriving at a church home where they're at. We want it to be a place that those people could come.
Mm-hmm. And how are those people going to end up here? By invitation.
I think it's just getting to know people in your community, and even if you don't know someone well, you just strike up a conversation with someone, and we've even thought of some neighbors that you can just, it's right down the road, that's just so much more inviting than if you say, you can come to my church and it's 20 minutes away.
That's something, again, that we were so struck with at Redeemer, is there are visitors pretty much every Sunday. And you ask people, how they came there that Sunday. It's, so-and-so, we're neighbors with so-and-so. I work with her husband, whatever. Like, people have connections. And I would want to be a church that is actively, there's a culture of bringing people to your church, so that isn't someone walks through the door that we don't know and everyone's like, who is that? But there's always visitors there. That would be, I think, pretty cool.
Good. All right, let me ask each one of you one more question, okay? And then we'll take a little break and we'll see what questions we have from the folks. I just want to also say, if you haven't texted, and then we're going through some of these questions and you want to ask an additional question, you can shoot up a hand when we get to the question time, but it will be most efficient to use that number. So we're sitting here, and I don't know most of you. I know some of you, but not most of you. I don't know if you're familiar with Redeemer or Grace Fellowship or Hanley, or you don't belong to any of these, and you just happened here because you knew this was going to occur tonight, and you're just kind of interested. So I want to go down the row and ask each couple to speak to one of the groups, at least some people who are here. And I'd like you to give them a reason or two or three why they should seriously consider this church plant. So let's start with the two of you. Grace people and Redeemer people, they're in churches they love. It's a little drive. I think for the Overbeeks, it would be like 30 minutes plus. Yep, so they're driving a ways, and now this is happening. Why should they seriously consider this?
I would say it goes along with our mission to be an outreaching church, and this is planting the gospel in Jamestown. And so it's something that we should be excited about and support and get behind. I think that being able to be close to the church, there's a lot of advantages to that, and so that's kind of like a nice thing to have as well. But I think just being able to support the churches and mother churches of Grace and Redeemer in their work of spreading the gospel should really just excite anybody who wants to be a part of it.
Go ahead. Yes, you have to too. Sorry, I can't force anyone to say anything. All that happens is a microphone gets passed to you. So if you want to hand it back to your dear husband, you can.
No, I just think that for us, it's hard to think about leaving Grace Fellowship. And so if you're in that boat, it is difficult, but growth is hard. And if you get too big at one place, it seems like it leaves a lot of room for people to just sort of become complacent. And so when you're forced to get out and go to someplace new, you're forced to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, like we are tonight.
You mean considering this or sitting up here?
Sitting up here.
Thank you, Sarah. Also, I want to ask the two of you, okay, I want you to switch the group. Alex is all over the last question. I'm going to switch up the group. I would like you to speak to people who may be here who are not part of Hanley or one of these two churches, and they're just checking this out. So if they're just checking this out, maybe they're at a different church or no church at all, why should they consider being part of this? Oh, this is going to be good. I can see the smile coming.
I don't know that it is. That's why the smile's well, I just think, I know for us, there's joining something like this, there's such an opportunity, one for personal growth. I think, the Steenwigs keep stealing my answers, but that you guys said, you were just saying something, Sarah, about being stretched and being forced out of your comfort zone. I don't think it's always good to be comfortable. In fact, I think it's really not a good thing to be comfortable most of the time. So this is a great opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and be forced into the Word more, forced into, in the best possible way, into really being part of the life of a church and growing something together with the Lord's blessing and bringing His Word to those people around you.
And I think you will hear Jesus here. You will receive the Spirit of Christ here. Yeah.
So Raj and Linda, I'm assigning you a different
Well,
group.
This building, this Hanley, like I said, we've been here
Yep.
58 years, and it started out a little white chapel there. And I remember in the 70s, we built this church and walked up here. And we like to have a church here that we can keep going to, And,
Yeah.
and it's called Hanley, right, Linda?
Oh, wait a minute. There's the church name. And I think I heard you earlier say that won't be a deal killer. I hear you.
No, it's going to be a church of, somebody's going to be in this church probably. We sure don't want, we want to be a church, and we hope that OPC would be a thriving church and take over, and because right now, we don't hardly have enough to elders and deacons and to hardly run a church, so we're going to need somebody here, and so.
Do you have anything to add, Linda, that you'd like to say to folks from Hanley who are here, why they should consider being part of this?
Why we would consider being part of this?
Yep, so if there's someone here from Hanley, I have to imagine there are folks here from Hanley. You, I'm sure, could identify them. I'm less good at that. And you would like to speak to them and say, here's why I think you should consider being part of this. What reasons would you give them?
Well, because we've experienced visiting your church, the OPC church, and was very impressed with this friendliness and the true word preached, and I couldn't say enough about it. We were very impressed. In some ways, I think it will be almost harder for you people coming in, leaving some of your friends at the churches you're going to, than it would be for us. For us, it's learning new names, which we're happy to do, you know. It's we just hope it works out.
Okay. Good.
Is that?
That's good. Thank you. I thank each one of you for spending a little time here, even if you're not totally comfortable doing this. We're going to take a little break. Let's take about a 5-minute break. And if you have questions, again, send them to the number behind here. Otherwise, there should be pieces of paper that you can find somewhere and write them out, and we'll collect those as well. Okay? So just 5 minutes. It's probably best if you, unless you really need to use the men's and women's room, that just stick where you are. You can stand up and talk and like each other. And then we'll go to any questions that you might have. Okay? You're getting a round of applause.